I took a ride down to the Polo Club, right? I was invited, very impromptu invitation, I must admit. I was invited to see a very special screening of a Nollywood movie, Amanayabo. I had a great time. I had a great time because it was a very cozy, atmosphere. It was outdoor, nice cushions, nice chair. I got to see some interesting, celebs that we've been seeing on television. And they gave me small chops. I cannot say no to food. Home training and things. Anywho, right. So when we're done, right, about like say 9:09, right, the movie was still on, but because where I stay is far, I had to take a hike. I had to book another ride to leave that venue, but not before I smelled the sweet perfume of freshly baked bread. Things in this life are not very difficult if you ask me. I'm a very simple man. Plantain, fish, some bread, I'm good. If I have a TV, no problem, right? I gotta watch cartoons, no problem. Talk about cars, I'm pretty happy as it is. But when I booked that ride, first thing I noticed, this man was not smiling. This was about 9:30 p.m. I got to a stop, took a bus home, and that's where all this particular conversation is hinged upon. In that bus, a man, how people in the bus would just see something and then they just start to ramble and then people just join in. Bus conversations are very interesting. And the man said, see Port Harcourt at this time, when things supposed they bubble, nothing they bubble. I looked at him like, I was curious. And the other lady said, Boko Haram don't come everywhere. He said, my sister, no be Boko Haram. So no be better they talk. See how everybody there, madam, as you there, so now you there happy. Where the lights, where the this, where the Port Harcourt not be like where they be before. We've been hearing this for the past 5-6 years. And then he said, as I am now, man suppose they happy to the go house. See me now, they go house, I want they happy. Which I want go house, go do. My children their house. I don't carry better to can't give them. I knew yes, it was financial. But his grounds was that he had a better time when his children were, much younger than they are right now. And he says, there's something in this Port Harcourt. Say, Port Harcourt no be am. I won't come out. Okay. So I said, I need to ask my listeners this morning. On a scale of 1 to 10, ladies and gentlemen, how would you rate your happiness level as a Port Harcourt resident? As compared to 20 years ago, that's 2005. Now, I choose 2005 because between 2005 and 2009, Port Harcourt underwent a very interesting transformations. Roads were being dualized. Some interesting, paintings started to come up on around our communities. And then we had the taxi services that were very, novel to us, where people go to the bank, get a taxi, plenty blue in it. But there was a Peugeot 306. By the time it was 2009. So between 2005 and 2009, there was a lot of transformation in Port Harcourt. Compare that time, if you have the good memory, and now. How happy are Port Harcourt residents?
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
017-923-0002, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0002, 0817923-0003. At Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and X at Nigeria Info PH. Then do us a very huge favor, ladies and gentlemen. Send us a message on WhatsApp. I would love to read your message, whether it's SMS or your digital form that's in WhatsApp. 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. It's Hello Port Harcourt. Once again, I'm here talking about what's going on in our city. And my question, 1st of December, are you as a Port Harcourt resident happier now than you were 20 years ago? 2 decades. A lot has happened A lot really has happened. There's a Jude, 20 years. Can you imagine? A lot has happened in this time. Oh, those days when we used to have plenty called boys disturbing us. Those days were fun, but I don't think we are in a better space than we were back in 2020. At least in Port Harcourt, there's more life, particularly at night. Back in 2020 than now. Okay, well, Frederick, I'm talking about 2005, not 2000, but yeah, you seem like you're a much older gentleman. 2000, I never woke up for nights. I was a child. I couldn't be moving around at night. What curfew? 6 o'clock. Jude, you should be home. But so I can't relate. I can't relate as a child. 6 o'clock was even too far. But I can't. But yeah, Frederick says, well, back in 2000, it was much fun to be around in Port Harcourt than it is now. It's still early on in the month, right? I know a lot of people are going to very soon, probably by the 15th, when schools close, people start making their way, to Ezinefite, to Oka, to Imbise, to Olu, to Umaya. Some will go to Abonima, some are going to go to Finima. Some are going to go to Ogbakre, Yes, people start to make their way to the various communities in and around this place. But the city itself, whether or not it's Christmas, whether or not it's the Ember month, no. But the question is, as you are right now, look at how you spent the year 2025, right? And if you have children right now, maybe obviously back then, you probably didn't have a child, or if you did, back in 2005, compare that period. And please don't fall for the trap of, oh, those good old days. No, 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 no. Look at how you were interacting. Compare how you were interacting with your neighbors. Compare how you were interacting in taxis. Because let's be honest, it's not like people are not complaining about money or power. Light no day, night light no. People have always been complaining about that. But generally, how happy were you? And this is my yardstick. My yardstick for comparing that time as a much younger person was that I always loved to come back to Port Harcourt. 90.3 Nigeria info. Finland is the happiest country in the world. Apparently, Finland has had this position for 8 consecutive years. Finland, the Finns are pretty happy. Why? How do you measure this? In fact, some scientists will tell you that you can't really measure happiness because it varies. What do you use? Is it the fact that the people are smiling, or is it the fact that the people don't fight, or is it the fact that they have air conditions on the streets? I don't know. How exactly can you measure it? Because even with these things, people still get depressed. People still get there's always going to be an outlier in every single issue. So there are certain yardsticks that they use. They look at, for example, they look at GDP. I beg your pardon, for per capita, life expectancy. Another support from government, freedom to make life's choices, generosity, and some would even say perception of corruption. I remember when I was in university, there was that thing that was that line that would I say, it was a piece of information like this, that report that Nigeria was the happiest country, second happiest nation on the planet, and I think happiest country in Africa. And, people like, wait, really? Why? What exactly happened? And then it dipped, I think during the, was it the Buhari administration that, when, the poverty index was really high, it dipped. But those things, however, right, are they the only sources of happiness? Don't get me wrong. If more people are not able to pay for daily expenses, and they feel subjugated, they're more likely not to feel very happy. But like I said, at least I was what, 8 or 9 during the Abacha regime. I was in secondary school when Obasanjo came through, and then there seemed to be a lot more, I don't know, positivity, if I can say so, particularly as I was a Rivers person. So whether I go to Lagos or whether I was in Benin, as an Edo man as well, I'd always want to come back to Port Harcourt because there seemed to be a bit of a buzz. Not quite sure what it was. It wasn't like there were parties everywhere, but there's just something about the air. And now, and it's been like this for a while. It didn't just happen today. It didn't just happen this year. No, it's been like this for a while. But I'm curious as to why some people would think that they are not, or would feel that they are not happy right now. Obviously, you're going to call me and tell me it's food and security. But 2005, sometimes 2-3 weeks, my dad would say we haven't had power. But hey, he was going to work. Hey, I'll come back and my friends will still play football. We were happy. Or is it because we were children then? Maybe.